Hey everyone, Rich Freeman here from Tuned In Guitar Lessons, and I am the creator of the Fretboard Memorization Deck. And today's video is basically an overview of what's included in the deck, how you can use it, and how I came about creating this deck. Essentially, over the years of teaching, I would just find myself in class writing little flashcards on pieces of paper during our classes for the material that I wanted my students to memorize. And then I would quiz them on it afterwards. And after seeing how effective that was, I decided that I needed to create all-in-one kind of deck of cards that students can just throw in their gig bag, book bag, whatever, just carry with them and be able to study anywhere they go at any time. And that's essentially what this deck is all about. There's a lot of material that guitar players need to know. They need to know it instinctively. They need to know it off the top of their head. And I find that most players just take too long to memorize this stuff. And I think it is because they find a lot of material on the internet and they're just scatterbrained all over the place. There are two aspects to learning the fretboard. There's the memorization, what you need to know, and then there's the application of what you know and being able to do it on the guitar. This deck is for the memorization, hence the name. It's broken into 6 sections, okay? The first section of the deck is going to cover the note names, okay? And it's basically going to have a series of cards that covers all the notes from A to G, right? With the sharps and flats included. And the way it works is that on one side of the card, you will have the letter, okay? And then on the opposite side of the card, you're going to have the fret and the string that that letter falls on. So on the back of each card, there's 6 answers. So for A, you have 6 locations up to the 12th fret. The next section of cards is what I consider the rhythmic notation section, and that's basically understanding what your whole notes are, your half notes, eighth notes, 16th notes, quarter notes, all that stuff, what those symbols look like, how they're counted. This is a very important thing that guitar players need to understand, especially when they start getting into soloing and understanding how to mix up the rhythms within what they're playing. So that's the second section. The third section of cards is going to be memorizing your chord shapes. So this consists of basically 3 cards that cover the most important open chords that I believe you need to know, and also 6 of the bar chord shapes or movable position shapes that I think every guitar player just has to know. So that would be the third section. The fourth section is going to cover the intervals across the neck. Now this is in 1 octave, and it essentially is going to teach you every interval, from the unison to the octave. And also, so you're going to learn what the name of the interval is, and then on the back side of the card, you will see the shape of the interval that you need to be able to recall. The next section of cards is going to be the scales, okay? And essentially what's here is 12 scales that I think every player needs to know. This includes all the modes: Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, Locrian, okay? And then the 5 positions of the minor pentatonic scale. With those 12 scales, you can literally play almost anything on the guitar and get such a wide range of sounds that you're going to be a killer player if you know all that stuff. Okay. The next section of cards, or the last section, is what I consider to be the theory cards, okay? Now this is going to cover a lot of formulas, okay? So for any chord that you play, there's a formula that creates that chord, that you have to understand the intervals and how the intervals build the chords. So essentially you have like your triads, your major chord, your minor chord, diminished chord, and so forth. And you have to understand that major chords built with the root, third, and fifth, and so forth. So those cards will cover the formulas for triads. There's a card that covers the formulas for seventh chords, knowing how to create them. Also, it covers the order of the chords within the key. There's a certain formula for that, and understanding how to build chords within a key. Additionally, there's a theory card for learning how you find the notes in the key, the modes and their formulas. So all those modes that you know, that you learn, the scales, you also have to understand the interval structure of each of those modes, and that is covered also in the cards. And then you also have your key signature cards that essentially cover all the key signatures. And then finally, there is a chords in the key card that is a reference card, essentially telling you every chord that belongs in every key. Thanks for watching this video. If these flashcards seem like something you'd be interested in, you can find links in the description below to both Amazon and my website. And I fulfill the orders myself, so I'll try to ship it out as soon as possible to you. Also, I'd appreciate if you'd like the video, share it with any of your friends who are also learning guitar, because this is something I really believe in, and I believe it'll help you guys out.